Welcome, traveler. Tonight, you have arrived at a place where time flows slowly, a place where stories linger like soft whispers in the evening air. Before we begin our journey, may I ask you, where are you watching this video tonight? And what time is it for you at this very moment? If you leave a comment telling me, it will bring me quiet joy. Now, take a deep breath. Feel the weight of the day gently slipping from your shoulders. Allow your mind to drift. Like leaves carried by a calm river, let the tension melt away. Focus on the rhythm of your breath, soft, steady, and serene. Tonight, we will travel together through lands and times long past. You will walk alongside a caravan, across the vast Silk Road, through deserts that shimmer under the sun, over mountains that pierce the clouds, and through cities bustling with distant voices and fragrant spices. Before we set out, imagine yourself there. Feel the sand beneath your feet, the wind brushing across your face, the scent of distant markets and ancient incense. Now, let your thoughts wander freely. Let your curiosity awaken gently. Ask yourself, what stories lie hidden within the folds of these ancient roads? Which secrets will the caravans whisper tonight? Who were the travelers, the merchants, the dreamers along these paths? And how might their journeys touch the silent corners of your mind tonight? Let us now prepare to step slowly, softly into a world long gone. Temürbek adjusted the heavy saddle upon his camel. Slowly, the morning sun stretched its golden fingers across the desert. Each grain of sand shimmered like tiny sparks of ancient fire. The caravan stirred softly, the gentle creak of leather echoing in the cool air. Horses nickered quietly, sensing the beginning of the long road ahead. Merchants whispered to each other, exchanging the last pieces of news. The scent of dried fruits and spiced tea floated lazily through the air. Temürbek inhaled deeply, letting the aroma mingle with the crisp desert breeze. He glanced at the horizon, where the mountains touched the sky. The first dunes rolled like quiet waves of amber and rose. Camels shuffled carefully, leaving traces that would soon vanish. A falcon soared high above, its shadow fleeting across the sands. He adjusted the reins with calm precision, feeling the rhythm of the caravan. A young boy balanced a tray of dates, moving between the animals with grace. The wind whispered secrets through the folds of their tents and cloaks. In the distance, a caravan of travelers appeared, moving like slow shadows. Temürbek's heart stirred with a gentle excitement, tempered by patience. He knew the road would be long and full of subtle wonders. The desert offered silence, yet it spoke in 1,000 tiny voices. Each rock, each pebble seemed to hold memories of those who passed before. He let his mind drift to the cities waiting beyond the dunes, where silk and jade traded hands in bustling bazaars, where lanterns flickered like captured stars in narrow alleys. He imagined the spice-laden air, thick and sweet, wrapping around him. The sounds of drums and distant laughter teased his ears softly. Temürbek focused on the rhythm of the camel steps. Slow, steady, hypnotic. He felt the subtle pulse of the earth beneath their feet. The caravan's pace was deliberate, a meditation in motion. He allowed his thoughts to wander to the stories hidden in every grain of sand. The sun climbed higher, warming their backs, but the wind carried gentle relief. The caravan moved steadily, shadows stretching behind them. Temürbek's eyes scanned the horizon, alert yet calm. A mirage shimmered faintly, teasing with its delicate illusion. The sand whispered beneath the camel hooves, soft and rhythmic. Merchants adjusted their bundles, murmuring quietly to one another. The boy balanced carefully, his small hand steady despite the sway. The sun climbed higher, turning the dunes into rolling waves of gold. Temürbek felt the heat pressing gently, yet the wind offered subtle reprieve. A lone hawk circled above, its cry distant and melancholic. The caravan slowed near a small oasis, palm shadows stretching long. Water glimmered, reflecting fragments of the sky above. Camels lowered their heads, drinking with quiet satisfaction. The scent of wet earth and date palms mingled in the warm air. Temürbek allowed himself a moment to breathe deeply. The boy handed out cups of tea, steam curling in the sunlight. Merchants shared small smiles, the camaraderie growing with each step. The dunes around them held secrets, ancient and untold. Every ripple in the sand seemed to tell a story of past travelers. Temürbek traced a pattern with his fingers, imagining the journey ahead. In the distance, a mountain range rose, jagged and majestic. Its peaks caught the sunlight, a promise of shelter and challenge. The caravan continued, each step measured in perfect harmony. The soft creak of leather and gentle murmur of animals filled the air. He noticed a solitary flower daring to bloom amidst the sand, its color vivid, a small rebellion against the desert's monotony. Temürbek felt a quiet joy, the simple beauty grounding him. He imagined the cities beyond, bustling with traders and colorful fabrics. The wind carried distant voices, unintelligible yet comforting. Every dune passed seemed like a heartbeat, steady and reliable. As the sun began its descent, the sky painted in soft pastels. Temürbek felt the caravan's unity, a small world moving slowly through the vast desert. Night began to stretch its velvet cloak across the desert. Temürbek guided the caravan slowly, feeling the cooling sand beneath the camels' feet. Stars appeared one by one like tiny lanterns in the sky. The crescent moon cast a gentle silver glow over the dunes. The wind whispered softly, carrying hints of distant lands. Merchants wrapped their cloaks tighter, settling into a rhythm of quiet movement. A lone owl hooted, echoing through the silent sands. Temürbek felt the subtle pulse of the desert, alive and breathing. Every footprint left behind told a story, fading as quickly as it was made. He imagined the countless travelers who had passed here before them. The boy carried lanterns, their warm light swaying gently with each step. Camels hummed softly, their steady rhythm a lullaby for the night. The scent of spices mingled with cool desert air, sharp yet soothing. Temürbek closed his eyes for a brief moment, feeling time stretch and slow. Distant mountains appeared as dark silhouettes against the starry sky. A gentle breeze carried whispers, perhaps stories of old caravans. He marveled at the vastness, the silence, the subtle music of the desert. Each step forward felt both small and monumental. The horizon was endless, yet comforting in its constancy. The boy laughed softly, the sound blending with the wind. Merchants exchanged hushed stories, their words mingling with the night. Temürbek imagined the bustling markets awaiting them far beyond the sands. Lantern light danced across camel saddles and woven packs. A fleeting shadow passed, perhaps a desert fox, quick and silent. He felt connected to everything, the sand, the stars, the soft breathing of the caravan. The journey seemed eternal, yet every step held meaning. The scent of distant incense drifted faintly, hinting at future encounters. Temürbek inhaled deeply, allowing the desert's calm to fill him completely. The night stretched on, gentle and unhurried, a tapestry of quiet wonders. With each slow step, the caravan became a thread woven into the desert's endless story. Dawn arrived slowly, painting the sky with gentle strokes of rose and amber. Temürbek felt the first warmth of sunlight on his back, soft and embracing. The caravan moved onward, leaving behind footprints that the wind would soon erase. In the distance, the outline of a small settlement began to appear. Smoke curled from chimneys, hinting at early morning activity. Children ran along narrow streets, their laughter mingling with the morning air. Merchants opened wooden shutters, revealing colorful fabrics and shining metals. Temürbek allowed his eyes to wander, drinking in the sight of life, awakening. A woman carried water in clay jars, her steps measured and rhythmic. The scent of freshly baked bread wafted through the streets, warm and inviting. A donkey brayed softly, adding a subtle note to the morning chorus. The boy pointed excitedly at a small fountain where townsfolk gathered. Temürbek nodded, sensing the energy of a place alive with stories. Camels shuffled carefully along the sandy path, cautious yet steady. A bell rang from a distant tower, marking the hour with a solemn tone. He watched a group of elders converse under a tree, gestures slow and deliberate. The wind carried a faint smell of spices, mingling with dust and morning dew. Temürbek imagined the journeys that had brought these people together. Each building seemed to hold secrets, etched into their wooden beams and stone walls. Merchants offered greetings, their voices soft yet warm. Temürbek returned the gesture, feeling the subtle rhythm of human connection. The boy's eyes sparkled with curiosity, taking in every detail. Camels nuzzled gently against one another, the trust among them palpable. A narrow alley revealed a market stall with shimmering silk and jade. The desert behind them whispered of distant lands and untold adventures. Temürbek felt the heartbeat of the caravan sync with the pulse of the settlement. Every face in the street seemed to tell a story woven into the fabric of the city. He allowed himself a moment to reflect, breathing in the soft morning light. The wind tugged gently at his cloak as if urging him onward. Temürbek whispered a quiet prayer for safe passage and fruitful exchanges. And with that, the caravan moved forward, stepping into a day filled with promise and discovery. The caravan approached a narrow mountain pass, shadows stretching long across jagged rocks. Temürbek guided the camels carefully, feeling the uneven ground beneath their feet. The wind whistled softly through the craggy peaks, carrying the scent of pine and distant snow. Rocks jutted out like ancient sentinels, silent and enduring. The boy clung to his camel saddle, eyes wide with quiet awe. Temürbek allowed the caravan to move slowly, each step deliberate and precise. A distant waterfall murmured, hidden in a shadowed valley below. The sunlight caught the edges of stones, casting intricate patterns of light and shade. Merchants adjusted packs, securing fragile goods with gentle care. Camels navigated the narrow trail, hooves finding balance on the uneven path. A lone eagle circled above, wings glinting in the morning sun. Temürbek inhaled the crisp mountain air, letting it fill his lungs and calm his mind. The boy pointed to a patch of wild flowers clinging to the cliffside, colors vivid against gray stone. Each turn revealed a new vista, breathtaking and serene. The trail wound upward, a silent ribbon connecting past and present. The caravan moved as one, harmony in motion, guided by experience and trust. Temürbek noticed the distant shimmer of a river winding through a valley far below. He imagined the travelers who had crossed these peaks before them. Their whispers seemed carried on the wind, soft and ephemeral. The mountains stood timeless, patient, watching over every step. Merchants murmured quietly, exchanging observations of distant villages below. Camels paused briefly, sniffing the cold air, adjusting to the altitude. Temürbek felt a serene connection to the earth beneath, steady and grounding. The sun rose higher, illuminating jagged rocks and hidden crevices. Shadows shifted slowly, revealing textures of ancient stone and hardy shrubs. A distant path curved around a cliff, promising new discoveries ahead. He allowed the gentle strain of climbing to merge with the rhythm of the caravan. The boy traced shapes in the rocks, imagining stories of legendary travelers. Temürbek's thoughts drifted, serene and unhurried. As the caravan pressed forward, every breath, every step, every glance carried the weight of history and the promise of what lay beyond. The caravan descended gently into a wide valley, shadows stretching long across the rolling terrain. Temürbek felt the earth soften beneath the camel hooves, a contrast to the rocky peaks above. A river wound through the valley, reflecting fragments of the sky like scattered mirrors. Wildflowers dotted the meadows, their colors vibrant against the green and gold. The boy ran ahead briefly, chasing the flutter of a butterfly. Merchants smiled softly, enjoying the rare calm of the valley. Temürbek inhaled deeply, savoring the mingling scents of grass, water, and distant spices. Camels moved steadily, their hums blending with the whisper of the wind. A flock of birds took flight, wings catching the morning light in a delicate shimmer. The river's gentle murmur added a subtle rhythm to the caravan's journey. Temürbek glanced at the distant hills, their curves smooth and inviting. He imagined the many travelers who had crossed this valley before them. The boy pointed to a herdsman tending goats near the riverbank, a small figure in the vast landscape. Temürbek's heart warmed at the quiet simplicity of life unfolding below the mountains. The caravan paused briefly, allowing camels to drink and stretch. Merchants exchanged quiet words, laughter soft as the breeze. The valley seemed alive, every leaf and blade of grass participating in a silent symphony. Temürbek closed his eyes, letting the serene sounds of nature fill him completely. The wind carried distant scents of cooking fires and fresh bread from nearby villages. A small bridge arched over the river, worn by centuries of travelers' footsteps. The boy crossed it slowly, feeling each plank beneath his feet. Temürbek followed, guiding the caravan carefully across the wooden structure. He imagined stories etched into every stone, every ripple of water, every breeze. Camels hummed softly, stepping with the steady patience of those who know the way. Merchants unpacked small items for trade, their movements quiet and deliberate. Temürbek observed, aware of every detail, letting the valley's calm deepen his thoughts. The sun climbed gently, casting warm light across hills and meadows. A deer paused near the riverbank, drinking cautiously before bounding away. The boy laughed softly, marveling at the fleeting beauty of the creature. Temürbek whispered a silent prayer of gratitude for the safety and wonder of the journey. The caravan moved on slowly, the valley's echo lingering like a soft, invisible thread. The caravan approached a bustling city at the valley's edge. Temürbek's eyes widened slightly, taking in the myriad colors and sounds. Smoke rose from ovens, mingling with the aroma of spices and fresh bread. Merchants called softly to one another, arranging wares on wooden stalls. The boy clutched Temürbek's cloak, marveling at the intricate patterns of silk and cloth. Camels slowed, stepping carefully over cobblestones worn smooth by countless travelers. A water fountain gurgled gently in the city square, sunlight sparkling on its surface. Temürbek allowed himself a moment to breathe in the city's pulse. He noticed artisans hammering metal into delicate shapes, sparks glinting softly. The scent of incense drifted from a nearby temple, subtle yet persistent. Children ran past, chasing each other with laughter and joyful energy. Merchants exchanged greetings, smiles passing as quietly as whispers. Temürbek guided the caravan to a shaded courtyard, allowing camels to rest. The boy pointed at a stall with carved jade, eyes wide with fascination. Temürbek nodded, approving of the delicate craftsmanship. A musician played a soft melody on a stringed instrument, notes drifting through the morning air. The caravan's pace slowed naturally, absorbed by the city's gentle rhythm. He imagined the countless traders who had passed through these streets over centuries. The city walls stood firm, their stones warm from the sun, telling silent tales of protection and perseverance. Temürbek watched a woman carrying water jars, her steps measured and calm. The boy ran to inspect a basket of dried fruits, inhaling the sweet aroma. Temürbek allowed a small smile, feeling the harmony of life in this bustling hub. Camels rested, their hums a soft backdrop to the city's awakening. Merchants exchanged small coins and goods, their movements precise and unhurried. Temürbek traced his fingers along a carved stone wall, imagining the hands that shaped it. He felt the city's history pulse gently under the morning sun. The boy's laughter mingled with the music and a soft hum of trade. Temürbek inhaled deeply, savoring every sound, scent, and sight. The city seemed to breathe around them, alive with stories and secrets. As the sun rose higher, the caravan prepared to continue, carrying with them memories of the city's quiet wonders. The caravan left the city behind, winding slowly through gentle rolling hills. Temürbek felt the soft sway of the camels, rhythmic and comforting. The grass whispered beneath their feet, rustling softly in the morning breeze. Wildflowers dotted the hillsides, their colors vivid against the green expanse. The boy pointed excitedly at a distant stream, its water glinting like silver. Merchants adjusted their loads, humming quietly as they walked. Temürbek inhaled deeply, savoring the mingling scents of earth, grass, and distant forests. A hawk circled above, its shadow fleeting across the undulating terrain. Camels stepped carefully, their steady pace a meditation in motion. The horizon stretched endlessly, soft hills fading into gentle blue mists. Temürbek felt the serenity of the hills, their quiet rhythm grounding him. The boy chased a butterfly briefly, laughter drifted in the wind. Merchants exchanged soft words, pointing to distant valleys and paths. Temürbek observed a lone shepherd guiding goats across a hillside. The sound of bells jingling softly marked their progress, small yet precise. Sunlight dappled through scattered clouds, warming the caravan gently. Camels hummed a steady accompaniment, a subtle lullaby of travel. The boy noticed a small cluster of wild herbs, curious and bright. Temürbek paused briefly, imagining the journeys of countless travelers who had passed this way. The wind carried faint whispers of distant villages and markets. Rolling hills seemed to breathe, rising and falling with a slow, patient rhythm. Merchants shared small smiles, their eyes reflecting the peaceful surroundings. The boy traced patterns in the soft earth, imagining stories of ancient travelers. Temürbek guided the caravan with deliberate care, each step measured and calm. A distant grove of trees shimmered in the morning light, a welcome sign of shade and rest. The camels moved with unwavering patience, trusting their leader implicitly. Temürbek felt a profound connection to the landscape, to the earth beneath, and the sky above. The hills held secrets in every curve, every shadow, every blade of grass. The boy's laughter and curiosity mingled with the serene music of the rolling hills. Temürbek whispered a quiet blessing for continued safety and discovery. And as the caravan pressed onward, the hills seemed to hum softly beneath their journeying steps. The caravan emerged onto a wide, arid plateau, the earth cracked and sun-baked. Temürbek shaded his eyes, gazing at the distant horizon, where mountains rose like guardians. Camels plodded steadily, their hums blending with the whispering wind. The boy clutched his cloak, feeling the dry heat radiating from the sun-baked ground. Merchants adjusted their loads, securing delicate silks and ceramics with care. Dust rose softly beneath hooves, sparkling like tiny golden particles in the sunlight. Temürbek inhaled the arid air, letting it sharpen his senses while calming his mind. A lone vulture circled high above, silent and observant. The plateau stretched endlessly, vast and solemn, a realm of quiet challenge. The boy pointed to distant dunes, curiosity lighting his eyes. Temürbek allowed the caravan to move slowly, savoring the deliberate rhythm of the journey. Shadows of rocks created patterns across the ground, shifting with the sun. The wind carried faint scents of herbs, growing stubbornly amidst the dry soil. Merchants whispered softly, commenting on the subtle beauty of the plateau. Camels hummed steadily, their steps in perfect harmony with the caravan. Temürbek reflected on the countless travelers who had crossed these plains before. The horizon shimmered with heat, illusions of water appearing briefly, then vanishing. The boy's gaze lingered on a solitary cactus, resilient and unyielding. Temürbek admired the quiet strength of life persisting in such harshness. Dust devils danced across the plateau, twisting and swirling like miniature storms. The sun climbed higher, casting sharp shadows that accentuated every ridge and crease. A distant mirage appeared, teasing with the promise of shade and cool waters. Merchants offered quiet encouragement to each other, their camaraderie strengthening the group. Temürbek felt a profound connection to the enduring earth beneath them. The plateau seemed to hold its own ancient memory, whispering softly to those who listened. The boy laughed softly, chasing the shadow of a dust devil as it twisted along the ground. Camels nuzzled gently, their warmth and presence comforting in the arid expanse. Temürbek inhaled deeply, letting the calm, stark beauty of the plateau fill him completely. Every step was a meditation, a conversation with the land stretching endlessly around them. And as the caravan pressed onward, the plateau's silent majesty seemed to embrace their slow, deliberate journey. The heat of the plateau pressed gently against the caravan, a persistent reminder of the sun's presence. Temürbek scanned the horizon carefully, seeking any sign of respite. A faint glimmer of water appeared in the distance, shimmering like a secret jewel. The boy's eyes widened, excitement and relief mingling on his face. Merchants murmured softly, hope threading through their words. Camels quickened slightly, sensing the promise of water and shade. The air grew cooler as they approached the oasis, carrying the faint scent of wet earth and foliage. Palms swayed gently in the soft breeze, casting delicate shadows across the water's surface. Temürbek allowed the caravan to move with careful speed, ensuring safety and calm. The boy ran ahead, marveling at the clear water reflecting the sky above. Merchants unpacked small wares, their movements quiet and deliberate. The scent of blossoming flowers mingled with the fresh aroma of the water. Camels lowered their heads, drinking with steady, satisfied hums. Temürbek closed his eyes for a brief moment, absorbing the serenity of the hidden haven. A heron stood at the water's edge, still as a statue, observing silently. The boy dipped his fingers into the water, giggling softly at the coolness. Merchants exchanged smiles, sharing a quiet moment of relief and joy. The oasis seemed timeless, a pocket of calm amidst the vast arid expanse. Palms and reeds swayed gently, creating a soothing rhythm against the soft breeze. Temürbek traced a line in the sand, imagining the footsteps of travelers who had rested here centuries before. Camels shifted slowly, their movements gentle after a long trek. The boy watched a dragonfly skim the water's surface, delicate wings catching sunlight. Temürbek inhaled deeply, letting the scents and sounds of the oasis fill him completely. The wind whispered softly through the palms, carrying stories from faraway lands. Merchants adjusted packs and prepared meals, movements quiet and intentional. The boy laughed softly, chasing the reflection of sunlight on the water. Temürbek allowed his thoughts to drift, serene and unhurried, absorbing every detail. Time seemed to stretch and slow, allowing the oasis to reveal its gentle magic. The caravan rested, a small world suspended in calm, harmony, and quiet wonder. And as the sun began its descent, the hidden oasis held them gently, a secret treasure of the Silk Road. The caravan left the oasis, their spirits lifted by rest and refreshment. Temürbek guided the camels carefully, feeling the soft crunch of sand beneath their feet. The sun began its slow descent, painting the desert sky with deep hues of crimson and gold. Shadows stretched long, merging with the dunes in a dance of light and dark. The boy gazed at the horizon, mesmerized by the fiery tapestry above. Merchants moved quietly, their movements deliberate as the day began to fade. The camels hummed softly, a gentle cadence in harmony with the fading light. Temürbek inhaled deeply, savoring the coolness that crept into the evening air. A solitary hawk glided across the sky, wings outlined in gold by the setting sun. The dunes appeared to ripple, soft waves of amber and rose shifting in the warm glow. The boy laughed softly, pointing at the silhouettes of distant hills. Merchants adjusted their packs, preparing for the approaching night. The desert's heat lingered faintly, softened by the gentle evening breeze. Temürbek traced patterns in the sand, letting his thoughts wander slowly and freely. Camels plodded steadily, their shadows stretching like quiet companions along the dunes. The wind whispered softly, carrying distant scents of spices and herbs from faraway lands. Temürbek felt a profound serenity, the desert's vastness wrapping around him like a soft cloak. The boy imagined the stars that would soon appear sparkling above the endless sands. Merchants exchanged quiet words, reflecting on the day's journey and discoveries. The sun dipped lower, casting the dunes in warm, shifting tones of orange and pink. Temürbek allowed himself a moment of contemplation, absorbing the desert's subtle beauty. Camels shifted gently, humming a lullaby of travel beneath the fading light. The boy traced shapes in the sand, imagining stories of travelers past and future. The horizon glimmered faintly, the last rays of sunlight dancing on distant rocks. Temürbek inhaled deeply, letting the calm of the desert evening fill his being completely. The wind carried whispers of ancient travelers, faint echoes of journeys long ago. Merchants moved quietly, lanterns in hand, guiding the caravan with care. The boy's laughter mingled softly with the hum of camels and the whisper of wind. Temürbek felt the rhythm of the desert, steady, eternal, and profoundly peaceful. And as the sun vanished beyond the horizon, the desert embraced the caravan in gentle twilight. Night fell gently across the desert, soft and velvety. Temürbek guided the caravan to a small sheltered campsite among rolling dunes. Camels settled slowly, lowering their heads with contented hums. The boy unrolled a small blanket, eyes wide with quiet wonder. Stars appeared one by one like delicate lanterns scattered across the sky. A crescent moon rose, casting a gentle silver glow over the sand. Temürbek lit a small lantern, its warm light flickering softly. Merchants prepared simple meals, movements quiet and deliberate. The wind whispered through the dunes, carrying hints of distant lands. Temürbek inhaled deeply, letting the calm of night fill him completely. The boy traced constellations in the sky, imagining stories woven into the stars. Camels shifted gently, settling into a steady rhythm of breathing and humming. The desert's vastness felt protective, embracing the caravan in serene silence. Temürbek listened to the subtle sounds of the night, each one soothing and familiar. Merchants murmured softly, exchanging quiet reflections on the journey. A distant owl hooted, its call gentle and melodic. The boy's laughter echoed faintly as he watched shadows dance in lantern light. Temürbek felt the pulse of the earth beneath them, steady and calming. The desert air carried scents of sand, herbs, and distant fires. Camels nudged one another softly, a chorus of quiet companionship. Temürbek allowed his mind to wander, serene and unhurried. The stars seemed to tell stories of travelers long gone, whispering their secrets. The boy yawned softly, curling against the warm folds of his blanket. Merchants nodded quietly to one another, a silent understanding of shared journeys. Temürbek traced patterns in the sand with a stick, imagining the caravan's path. The crescent moon's light danced on the dunes, delicate and transient. The night air hummed softly, a lullaby of wind, sand, and distant mountains. Temürbek whispered a silent blessing for safe travels and continued discoveries. The boy's eyelids grew heavy, the caravan's gentle rhythm lulling him toward sleep. And as the desert night stretched endlessly, The camp rested, wrapped in quiet peace and soft serenity. The first light of dawn crept gently over the desert, soft and golden. Temürbek rose slowly, feeling the cool morning air against his skin. Camels stirred, lifting their heads and stretching gracefully. The boy yawned, rubbing his eyes, curiosity already stirring. Merchants packed their wares carefully, movements calm and deliberate. The lantern's warm glow faded as sunlight spread across the dunes. Temürbek inhaled deeply, savoring the crisp, fragrant morning air. Shadows of the dunes stretched long, dancing in the early light. A solitary hawk circled high, wings glinting as it traced the wind currents. Camels began to move steadily, hums blending with the whisper of sand. The boy skipped lightly beside his camel, eyes bright with wonder. Merchants exchanged soft words, pointing to distant hills and valleys. Temürbek observed a line of distant mountains, peaks sharp against the morning sky. The desert seemed alive, breathing slowly and patiently with each movement of the caravan. A gentle breeze stirred, carrying scents of distant herbs and flowers. Camels plodded in harmonious rhythm, each step deliberate and measured. The boy noticed a lone cactus standing resilient against the vast landscape. Temürbek admired its quiet strength, reflecting the endurance needed for the journey. The caravan moved onward, footprints marking temporary paths in the shifting sands. Shadows shifted softly as the sun climbed higher, revealing textures of stone and sand. Merchants murmured observations of distant settlements, their voices gentle against the morning hush. Temürbek traced the horizon with his eyes, imagining the travelers who had passed this way centuries ago. The boy laughed softly, pointing to a dust devil twisting far across the plateau. Camels hummed in steady cadence, a subtle lullaby of movement. The desert stillness enveloped them, calming, steady, and infinite. Temürbek allowed his thoughts to drift, serene and unhurried, like the wind over the dunes. Merchants offered quiet encouragement, fostering a gentle camaraderie within the group. The boy's laughter mingled softly with the soft hum of camels and the whisper of the wind. The horizon glimmered faintly, hints of distant villages appearing like mirages. Temürbek inhaled deeply, letting the morning's calm fill him completely. And as the caravan pressed forward, the desert welcomed them with quiet patience and timeless grace. The caravan approached a wide river, its surface glimmering under the morning sun. Temürbek guided the camels carefully, scanning the shallow spots for safe passage. The boy's eyes widened at the sparkling water, excitement mingling with caution. Merchants murmured softly, coordinating the crossing with deliberate care. Camels stepped into the river slowly, hooves sending gentle ripples across the surface. Temürbek inhaled deeply, feeling the cool spray against his face. The river hummed softly, a melody of flowing water and distant reeds. The boy dipped his hand into the current, laughing softly at the refreshing touch. Merchants adjusted loads, ensuring fragile goods remained secure and dry. Camels moved steadily, their hums blending with the gentle rush of the river. Temürbek traced the water's surface with his gaze, imagining the journeys it had witnessed. Shadows of reeds and trees danced across the water, soft and ephemeral. The boy pointed excitedly at a fish glinting beneath the ripples. Merchants exchanged quiet smiles, appreciating the simple joys of the crossing. Temürbek allowed himself a moment of contemplation, absorbing the river's calm energy. The camels shifted cautiously, feeling the uneven riverbed beneath their feet. A heron rose from the bank, wings catching sunlight as it glided above. The boy laughed softly, marveling at the bird's elegant flight. Temürbek guided the caravan with patient precision step by step across the water. The riverbanks were dotted with wildflowers and soft grasses, adding color to the scene. Merchants murmured observations about the distant hills on the far side. Camels hummed steadily, a quiet accompaniment to the river's gentle song. The boy skipped lightly over smooth stones, careful not to slip. Temürbek admired the river's timeless flow, constant yet ever-changing. Shadows lengthened as the sun climbed higher, soft reflections dancing across the water. The caravan's footprints disappeared quickly into the sandy banks, temporary marks of passage. Merchants moved quietly, preparing to continue the journey once the crossing was complete. Temürbek inhaled deeply, letting the serene sounds of the river fill him completely. The boy's laughter mingled with the hum of camels and the gentle rush of water. And as the caravan stepped onto the far bank, the river's song lingered, a soft memory of movement and calm. The caravan emerged from the riverbanks into wide, verdant plains stretching endlessly. Temürbek inhaled the fresh, fragrant air, the scent of grass and wildflowers filling his senses. Camels plodded steadily, hooves sinking softly into the lush earth. The boy ran ahead briefly, marveling at the vibrant expanse around him. Merchants adjusted their loads carefully, savoring the rare softness beneath their feet. Temürbek traced the horizon, noting distant clusters of trees and small settlements. A gentle breeze stirred the tall grass, creating rippling waves across the plains. Camels hummed softly, their steady rhythm blending with the whispering wind. The boy chased a fluttering butterfly, laughter spilling quietly into the air. Merchants exchanged soft words, commenting on the richness of the land. Temürbek noticed herds of deer grazing in the distance, their movements graceful and calm. The sun climbed higher, casting warm, golden light across the verdant expanse. Shadows of clouds drifted across the plains, shifting softly with the wind. Camels moved in harmony, their hums a subtle lullaby of continued travel. The boy pointed to a distant village, curiosity lighting his eyes. Temürbek allowed the caravan to move slowly, savoring each step and sight. Merchants smiled quietly, sharing a moment of appreciation for the fertile land. The wind carried distant scents of bread, herbs, and smoke from nearby hearths. Camels adjusted their pace, moving with quiet assurance and familiarity. Temürbek traced patterns in the grass with his eyes, imagining travelers from centuries past. A lone hawk circled above, wings glinting in the sunlight, silent and patient. The boy laughed softly, chasing the shadow of the bird across the fields. Merchants murmured observations about distant hills and streams, quiet and deliberate. Temürbek felt connected to the earth beneath, the sky above, and the rhythm of the journey. The plains seemed alive, each blade of grass participating in a silent, harmonious dance. Camels shifted gently, the hum steady and comforting, as the caravan moved onward. The boy's laughter mingled softly with the wind and hum of travel, light and carefree. Temürbek allowed himself a moment of stillness, absorbing the serene beauty around him. Every breath, every step, every glance carried the calm energy of the plains. And as the caravan pressed forward, The verdant expanse embraced them, a gentle, timeless companion. The caravan approached distant mountains, their peaks casting long, mysterious shadows. Temürbek felt a subtle chill in the air, the landscape shifting from soft plains to rugged terrain. Camels adjusted their steps carefully, hooves finding purchase on rocky soil. The boy's eyes widened at the towering peaks, curiosity mingled with awe. Merchants murmured softly, preparing for the gradual climb ahead. The sunlight softened, casting gentle hues across the mountain's jagged edges. Temürbek inhaled deeply, savoring the scent of pine and distant herbs. A hawk glided silently above, its shadow sweeping across the path below. Camels hummed steadily, their rhythm a steady companion to the slow ascent. The boy traced patterns in the stones, imagining stories etched over centuries. Merchants exchanged soft words, observing subtle changes in vegetation and terrain. Temürbek guided the caravan with deliberate care, step by step along the narrow trail. Shadows shifted as the sun moved, painting the mountains with warm amber and cool gray. A distant waterfall tumbled into a hidden valley, glinting like liquid silver. The boy pointed excitedly, eyes bright with discovery and wonder. Camels plodded steadily, their hums merging with the gentle murmur of the wind. Temürbek traced the horizon, imagining travelers who had crossed this path long ago. Merchants adjusted their packs carefully, ensuring balance on the uneven ground. The boy's laughter mingled with the soft hum of camels, light and harmonious. Rocks jutted out like ancient sentinels, silent witnesses to the passage of time. Temürbek inhaled deeply, feeling the calm power of the mountains around him. A gentle breeze carried distant scents of wild flowers and pine resin. Camels shifted slowly, moving with quiet patience along the winding trail. The boy stopped briefly to admire a cluster of mountain herbs, curiosity lighting his face. Merchants shared quiet smiles, observing the subtle beauty of the rugged landscape. Temürbek allowed himself a moment of stillness, feeling the enduring presence of the mountains. The sun dipped lower, casting long, soft shadows that shifted with the terrain. Camels hummed softly, their steady rhythm comforting as the caravan pressed onward. The boy laughed quietly, chasing the shadow of a soaring eagle above. And as the caravan ascended further, the mountain shadows embraced them, calm and eternal. The caravan entered a dense forest, sunlight filtering softly through high canopies. Temürbek inhaled deeply, the scent of damp earth and pine filling his senses. Camels stepped carefully, hooves sinking slightly into the soft forest floor. The boy's eyes widened at the towering trees, branches interwoven like a cathedral ceiling. Merchants moved quietly, navigating around roots and fallen branches. Birdsong floated gently through the air, delicate and melodious. Temürbek allowed the caravan to move slowly, savoring each step and sound. A deer paused in the shadows, observing them before bounding lightly away. Camels hummed steadily, blending their rhythm with the gentle hum of the forest. The boy pointed at a patch of colorful mushrooms, curiosity lighting his eyes. Merchants murmured softly, commented on the richness of the forest floor. Temürbek traced the sunlight on leaves, noting the delicate patterns of shadow and light. The path narrowed, winding gently between tall oaks and cedars. A small stream bubbled quietly, its water cool and inviting. The boy knelt to touch the stream, giggling softly at its freshness. Camels shifted slowly, adjusting to the uneven ground beneath them. Temürbek inhaled the earthy aroma, letting the calm of the forest settle over him. Squirrels scurried along branches, tiny shadows darting above the caravan. Merchants exchanged quiet smiles, appreciating the forest's tranquil beauty. The boy laughed softly, chasing a drifting leaf carried by the breeze. Temürbek guided the caravan with careful precision, step by step along the winding trail. Sunlight shifted gently, casting dappled patterns on moss and stone. Camels hummed in steady cadence, a quiet melody of travel through the woods. The boy traced shapes in the moss, imagining stories etched into every tree and stone. Merchants moved deliberately, careful not to disturb the fragile forest ecosystem. Temürbek paused briefly, feeling a profound connection to the forest's ancient presence. The wind whispered softly through branches, carrying distant scents of herbs and pine. Camels shifted gently, resting briefly in small clearings before pressing onward. The boy's laughter mingled with a hum of camels and the gentle rustle of leaves. And as the caravan wound through the forested pass, the trees' embrace offered calm, serenity, and quiet wonder. The caravan emerged from the forest into a small mountain village, smoke curling gently from stone chimneys. Temürbek inhaled the crisp mountain air, tinged with the scent of wood smoke and baking bread. Camels stepped carefully on cobblestone streets, hooves clinking softly. The boy's eyes widened at the sight of children playing near the village fountain. Merchants murmured greetings to villagers, their voices soft and courteous. Temürbek allowed the caravan to slow, savoring the gentle bustle of daily life. Villagers carried baskets of fruits and vegetables, their movements deliberate and calm. A small bell chimed from a nearby temple, its sound warm and welcoming. The boy pointed at a cat perched on a low wall, its tail flicking lazily. Camels hummed softly, blending with the quiet symphony of the village. Temürbek observed the architecture, stone houses with wooden beams, roofs covered in clay tiles. Merchants adjusted their loads, careful not to jostle delicate goods. The boy ran to watch a woman kneading dough, fascinated by the rhythmic motion. Temürbek smiled quietly, appreciating the simple, enduring routines of village life. A shepherd guided goats along narrow streets, their bells jingling softly. Camels shifted gently, sniffing the air and settling comfortably. Temürbek traced patterns in the cobblestones, imagining travelers from centuries past. The boy laughed softly, pointing at a small fountain spouting water into a stone basin. Merchants exchanged quiet smiles, savoring the warmth and hospitality of the villagers. Temürbek inhaled deeply, letting the village's calm energy envelop him completely. Sunlight filtered through the mountains, casting warm golden light across rooftops and hills. Camels plodded steadily, their hums gentle backdrop to the quiet village life. The boy marveled at colorful fabrics hung outside houses, swaying in the breeze. Merchants murmured softly about trade routes connecting distant lands. Temürbek guided the caravan with deliberate care, each step measured and unhurried. Children waved shyly, and the boy waved back, a shared moment of joy. The village dogs barked gently, adding a playful rhythm to the morning. Camels shifted slightly, settling into the gentle harmony of the surroundings. Temürbek allowed himself a moment of stillness, absorbing the village's serene ambiance. And as the caravan prepared to leave, The mountain village's quiet charm lingered, a soft memory etched in the mind. The caravan left the mountain village, ascending a narrow, windy pass. Temürbek felt the air grow cooler, tinged with the scent of stone and pine. Camels moved carefully, hooves finding purchase on uneven, rocky terrain. The boy clutched Temürbek's cloak, eyes wide with awe at the swirling winds around them. Merchants murmured softly, ensuring packs were secure against the gusts. The sun filtered through clouds, casting shifting light across jagged cliffs. Temürbek inhaled deeply, feeling the wind's energy invigorate yet calm his spirit. A hawk rode the thermals above, wings steady against the rushing currents. Camels hummed softly, their cadence steady and reassuring. The boy pointed at distant snow-capped peaks, excitement and wonder in his eyes. Merchants exchanged quiet smiles, appreciating the beauty and challenge of the past. Temürbek guided the caravan carefully, step by deliberate step. Rocks jutted sharply, shadows stretching like silent sentinels across the path. The wind carried distant scents of herbs and pine resin from hidden valleys below. Camels adjusted slowly, shifting weight carefully with each gust. The boy laughed softly, chasing a loose leaf, twirling in the wind. Merchants whispered observations of subtle changes in terrain and vegetation. Temürbek traced the horizon with his eyes, imagining travelers from centuries past. Shadows danced and shifted, creating transient patterns across cliffs and slopes. The caravan moved with calm determination, each member attuned to the rhythm of the pass. The boy pointed excitedly at a distant herd of mountain goats, nimble and sure-footed. Camels hummed steadily, a gentle melody beneath the rush of wind. Temürbek inhaled deeply, letting the majesty of the mountains fill him completely. The wind whispered softly, carrying faint echoes of stories long forgotten. Merchants adjusted packs quietly, maintaining balance and composure. The boy's laughter mingled with the hum of camels and the wind's gentle roar. Temürbek paused briefly, savoring the stillness between gusts, a calm within motion. The sun dipped lower, casting long golden shadows across the pass. Camels shifted gently, steady and patient, as the caravan pressed onward. And as the caravan navigated the windy pass, the mountain's embrace felt protective, serene, and eternal. The caravan emerged from the windy pass onto a wide plateau, bathed in the soft glow of twilight. Temürbek inhaled the cool evening air, tinged with the scent of distant wildflowers. Camels plodded steadily, their hums blending with the gentle whisper of the wind. The boy gazed across the plateau, eyes wide with quiet wonder at the fading light. Merchants adjusted their packs carefully, savoring the soft ground beneath their feet. Shadows stretched long, creating gentle patterns across the rolling terrain. Temürbek allowed the caravan to slow, letting the tranquility of twilight settle over them. A hawk glided silently above, wings outlined in the muted colors of dusk. Camels hummed softly, a steady rhythm in harmony with the plateau's calm. The boy laughed quietly, pointing at the distant silhouette of a lone tree. Merchants exchanged whispers about the approaching night and their planned camp. Temürbek traced patterns in the fading light, imagining travelers who had crossed this plateau long ago. The horizon glimmered with warm shades of orange, pink, and violet. Camels shifted gently, finding comfort in the soft earth beneath them. The boy bent down, examining delicate wildflowers that swayed with the evening breeze. Merchants moved quietly, their steps deliberate and unhurried. Temürbek inhaled deeply, letting the peacefulness of the plateau envelop his senses. Shadows merged with the distant hills, softening the landscape's edges. A gentle wind stirred, carrying faint scents of herbs, earth, and distant water. Camels hummed steadily, a quiet accompaniment to the evening's calm. The boy traced shapes in the sand, imagining stories written in the earth. Temürbek allowed himself a moment of stillness, absorbing the serene beauty surrounding them. Merchants murmured softly, reflecting on the journey and the plateau's gentle embrace. The sun dipped lower, casting golden highlights across distant rocks and vegetation. Camels shifted slowly, adjusting their stance as the light continued to fade. The boy's laughter mingled with the hum of camels and the whisper of the wind. Temürbek felt the calm rhythm of the plateau, steady and eternal. Shadows deepened, softening the landscape as twilight transitioned toward night. Camels plodded forward, guided by Temürbek's steady hand and patient voice. And as the caravan crossed the twilight plateau, the vast expanse seemed to embrace them with quiet serenity. Night fell gently over the twilight plateau, soft and velvety. Temürbek guided the caravan to a small clearing, camels settling slowly. The boy unrolled his blanket, eyes wide with wonder at the emerging stars. Merchants moved quietly, preparing simple meals and securing their packs. The sky deepened into a rich indigo, sprinkled with countless twinkling lights. A crescent moon rose gently, casting silver reflections across the earth. Temürbek inhaled deeply, letting the calm of night fill his senses. Camels hummed softly, their steady rhythm comforting and gentle. The boy traced constellations with his finger, imagining stories in each cluster of stars. Merchants whispered softly, observing the celestial canopy above. Temürbek allowed himself a moment of stillness, absorbing the quiet majesty of the night. A gentle breeze stirred, carrying the earthy scent of the plateau and distant herbs. Camels shifted slightly, settling comfortably in the soft earth. The boy's laughter echoed faintly as he watched the flickering light of a nearby lantern. Merchants shared quiet smiles, enjoying the calm of a starlit camp. Temürbek traced patterns in the sand, imagining travelers from centuries past. The wind whispered softly through the grasses, a gentle lullaby of nature. The boy leaned back, gazing up at the Milky Way, awe and curiosity in his eyes. Camels hummed steadily, a soothing melody beneath the vast night sky. Temürbek reflected on the journey, grateful for the quiet strength of the caravan. Stars shimmered faintly, their distant light connecting past and present travelers. The boy yawned softly, curling against his blanket, eyes growing heavy. Merchants murmured quiet words of gratitude and protection for the night ahead. Temürbek inhaled deeply, letting the night's serenity fill him completely. Camels shifted gently, resting after the day's long journey. The boy's laughter mingled softly with the gentle hum of camels and wind. Temürbek allowed the camp to rest, every member attuned to the rhythm of night. A distant owl hooted, its call melodic and soothing in the darkness. The stars seemed to whisper stories, timeless and eternal, to anyone who listened. And as the caravan slept beneath the starry sky, the plateau held them in quiet peace and gentle wonder. The first light of morning crept gently over the plateau, soft mist curling across the ground. Temürbek inhaled the crisp, fragrant air tinged with dew and distant herbs. Camels stirred slowly, hooves sinking into the cool, damp earth. The boy rubbed his eyes, marveling at the delicate veil of mist surrounding them. Merchants packed their wares quietly, careful not to disturb the serene morning calm. Sunlight filtered softly through the mist, painting the landscape in muted golds and silvers. Temürbek allowed the caravan to move slowly, savoring each moment of stillness. A solitary hawk glided silently above, wings outlined against the pale morning sky. Camels hummed softly, a steady rhythm in harmony with the mist-shrouded plateau. The boy laughed quietly, chasing the faint shadows cast by the rising sun. Merchants whispered softly, commenting on the mystical beauty of the mist. Temürbek traced the outlines of distant hills, their shapes softened by the gentle fog. Shadows and light intertwined, creating delicate patterns across grass and stone. Camels shifted gently, moving with quiet patience through the ethereal landscape. The boy bent to touch the dew-laden grass, giggling softly at its coolness. Merchants exchanged quiet smiles, appreciating the calm energy of the morning. Temürbek inhaled deeply, letting the mist's serenity fill him completely. A gentle breeze stirred, carrying distant scents of flowers, herbs, and fresh earth. Camels hummed steadily, a soothing background to the quiet morning symphony. The boy pointed excitedly at a small stream shimmering faintly in the haze. Temürbek guided the caravan carefully, every step deliberate and mindful. Shadows of camels and merchants shifted softly as the mist slowly lifted. The boy traced shapes in the sand, imagining stories of travelers past. Merchants moved deliberately, each motion harmonious with the morning's rhythm. Temürbek paused briefly, appreciating the timeless beauty of the plateau in mist. Sunlight intensified gently, transforming the veil of fog into a soft, golden glow. Camels plodded forward, steady and calm as the caravan resumed its journey. The boy's laughter mingled with the hum of camels and the whispering breeze. Temürbek allowed himself a moment of serenity, attuned to the mystical morning, and as the caravan advanced through the mist, the plateau seemed to embrace them in gentle, ethereal calm. The plateau gradually gave way to rolling desert sands, stretching endlessly before the caravan. Temürbek inhaled the dry, warm air, sensing the vastness of the landscape ahead. Camels plodded steadily, hooves sinking softly into the fine grains of sand. The boy's eyes widened at the sight of endless dunes, golden under the morning sun. Merchants murmured softly, coordinating movements carefully across the shifting terrain. The wind whispered across the dunes, carrying faint scents of distant oases. Temürbek allowed the caravan to slow, savoring each step in a tranquil desert. A solitary hawk circled high, glinting in the bright sunlight above. Camels hummed gently, their rhythm steady and comforting. The boy pointed at a distant mirage, imagination painting stories across the shimmering heat. Merchants exchanged quiet smiles, acknowledging the beauty and challenge of the desert. Temürbek traced the horizon with his eyes, noting the patterns in the sands shaped by wind and time. Shadows shifted softly, following the undulating curves of dunes. Camels adjusted their pace, steady and measured in harmony with the landscape. The boy bent to examine delicate desert plants, curious and fascinated. Merchants whispered softly, discussing the journey and the hidden dangers of sandstorms. Temürbek inhaled deeply, feeling the desert's vast calm envelop him. A gentle breeze stirred, lifting fine grains of sand in a slow, graceful dance. Camels hummed steadily, a quiet accompaniment to the soft susurration of wind. The boy's laughter mingled softly with the hum of camels and the whisper of sand. Temürbek allowed his mind to wander, imagining travelers from centuries past crossing the same path. Distant dunes shimmered with heat, their shapes morphing gently with the sunlight. Merchants moved deliberately, balancing goods and camels with careful precision. The boy traced shapes in the sand, invented stories of ancient travelers and hidden treasures. Temürbek paused briefly, appreciating the desert's enduring and timeless beauty. Sunlight reflected softly off rippling dunes, painting the sand in shades of gold and amber. Camels plodded forward, steady and calm as the caravan pressed into the desert. The boy's laughter mingled with gentle camel hums and a soft sigh of wind. Temürbek felt a deep serenity, attuned to the rhythm and expanse of the desert. And as the caravan moved across the vast sands, the desert embraced them with quiet, golden eternity. This caravan reached a hidden oasis, its waters sparkling like liquid gems. Temürbek inhaled deeply, savoring the fresh, cool air and scent of palm trees. Camels lowered their heads, drinking deeply from the tranquil pool. The boy ran ahead, laughing softly as he dipped his hands into the cool water. Merchants unpacked supplies, arranging food and rested mats near the shade. Sunlight filtered gently through palm fronds, casting dappled patterns on the sand. Temürbek allowed the caravan to rest, savoring the serene embrace of the oasis. A gentle breeze stirred, carrying distant floral scents and the soft rustle of leaves. Camels hummed softly, their rhythm merging with the gentle lapping of water. The boy traced patterns in the sand, imagination painting stories of travelers past. Merchants whispered quietly, sharing observations of the surrounding landscape. Temürbek observed the oasis closely, noting the thriving vegetation and small wildlife. Birds flitted between branches, their calls melodic and soothing. The boy laughed, chasing a small lizard darting among the rocks. Camels shifted slightly, settling comfortably in the shade of palms. Temürbek inhaled deeply, letting the calm energy of the oasis fill him completely. The sun cast warm light across the water, making it shimmer like molten silver. Merchants moved deliberately, maintaining balance and harmony during the pause. The boy picked up a smooth stone, tossing it gently into the pool. Temürbek traced reflections in the water, imagining travelers centuries ago discovering this hidden sanctuary. Shadows lengthened slowly, stretching across sand and palm roots. Camels hummed steadily, their gentle rhythm blending with the soft symphony of nature. The boy giggled as he watched ripples expand from his tossed stone. Merchants exchanged quiet smiles, appreciating the rare tranquility of the oasis. Temürbek allowed himself a moment of stillness, attuned to the oasis's enduring serenity. The gentle breeze carried the whisper of distant mountains and flowing streams. Camels rested quietly, eyes half closed, hums soothing and constant. The boy's laughter mingled with the sounds of water, birds, and camel hums. Temürbek reflected on the caravan's journey, grateful for this haven of calm. and as the caravan rested at the oasis, the hidden waters embraced them with peace, refreshment, and timeless serenity. The caravan rose from the oasis, the desert stretching endlessly before them once more. Temürbek inhaled the warm, dry air, senses alert to the shifting landscape. Camels plodded steadily, hooves sinking softly into the sand. The boy's eyes widened at distant clouds of swirling dust, a sandstorm approaching. Merchants murmured quietly, coordinating preparations for the coming winds. The sun glimmered through haze, casting a surreal glow across the dunes. Temürbek allowed the caravan to slow, mindful of each step in the shifting sands. A hawk circled high, riding the thermals, its shadow flickering across the dunes. Camels hummed softly, their rhythm steady against the rising gusts. The boy clutched Temürbek's hand, eyes reflecting both awe and caution. Merchants whispered carefully, discussing the safest path through the storm. Temürbek scanned the horizon, noting subtle shifts in the sand's color and texture. Shadows lengthened as gusts of wind began to stir the dunes into motion. Camels adjusted their steps, careful to maintain balance in the loose sand. The boy laughed softly, pointing at a distant whirlwind of sand. Curiosity mingled with fear. Merchants exchanged quiet nods, confident in their collective experience. Temürbek inhaled deeply, centering himself amid the rising chaos. The wind carried scents of dry herbs, hot earth, and distant water. Camels hummed steadily, their cadence a comforting constant amid the storm's approach. The boy's laughter mingled with the soft hum, light and fragile against the wind. Temürbek traced patterns in the sand, imagining travelers from centuries past facing similar storms. Shadows and light shifted rapidly as the sun dipped and clouds swirled. Camels shifted carefully, hooves digging into the sand for stability. The boy's curiosity overcame caution, but Temürbek guided him gently back to the caravan center. Merchants moved deliberately, securing goods and packs against the rising gusts. The desert's vast expanse seemed alive, swirling and moving with an almost sentient rhythm. Temürbek inhaled deeply, feeling the desert's power and timeless presence. A distant mirage shimmered, fleeting and ethereal in the heat and dust. Camels plodded onward, steady and patient, guided by careful hands and enduring rhythm. And as the sandstorm approached, the caravan moved with calm determination, embracing the desert's raw, majestic power. The caravan spotted towering cliffs rising from the desert, offering shelter from the approaching storm. Temürbek guided the camels carefully toward a narrow passage between jagged rocks. Camels hummed steadily, their hooves finding purchase on the uneven, sandy ground. The boy's eyes widened at the towering stone walls, shadows stretching long and mysterious. Merchants murmured softly, adjusting loads to ensure balance through the rocky passage. Sunlight filtered weakly, casting soft golden highlights on the cliff faces. Temürbek inhaled deeply, feeling a sense of relief and calm as they approached safety. A hawk circled high above, wings outlined sharply against the bright sky. Camels moved steadily, their hums a comforting rhythm amid the looming cliffs. The boy pointed at a narrow crevice, curiosity lighting his eyes. Merchants whispered quietly, noting natural shelters and signs of past travelers. Temürbek traced patterns in the cliffs, imagining the history etched into every stone. Shadows shifted gently as the sun moved, softening the harsh edges of the rocks. Camels shifted slowly, adjusting their footing carefully on the rocky terrain. The boy bent down to touch cool stones, giggling softly at their smoothness. Merchants exchanged quiet smiles, appreciating the safe haven offered by nature. Temürbek inhaled deeply, letting the serenity of the cliffs fill him completely. A gentle breeze stirred, carrying faint scents of distant herbs and desert flowers. Camels hummed steadily, blending their rhythm with the soft rustle of wind through the rocks. The boy's laughter mingled softly with the hum of camels and the whisper of wind. Temürbek guided the caravan carefully, every step deliberate and mindful. Shadows stretched long, painting delicate patterns on the ground beneath them. Camels shifted slightly, settling into calm positions as the storm's roar grew distant. The boy traced shapes in the sand, imagining travelers from centuries past finding refuge here. Merchants moved deliberately, maintaining balance and harmony in the narrow passage. Temürbek paused briefly, appreciating the cliff's protective presence and enduring strength. Sunlight softened, highlighting the textures and colors of stone, sand, and sparse vegetation. Camels plodded forward, steady and patient, guided by experience and careful hands. The boy's laughter mingled with gentle camel hums at the soft symphony of the cliffs, and as the caravan rested beneath the sheltering cliffs, the desert storm passed, leaving calm safety and timeless serenity in its wake. The caravan reached a winding river, its waters glinting under the morning sun. Temürbek inhaled deeply, savoring the fresh, cool scent of flowing water. Camels hesitated briefly, hooves testing the soft, muddy riverbank. The boy laughed softly, dipping a hand into the gentle current. Merchants murmured quietly, planning the safest way to cross the river. Sunlight danced across ripples, painting fleeting patterns of gold and silver. Temürbek allowed the caravan to move slowly, each step deliberate and careful. A heron took flight nearby, wings outstretched against the bright sky. Camels hummed softly, adjusting their balance as they entered shallow waters. The boy pointed at fish darting beneath the surface, eyes wide with curiosity. Merchants guided the camels carefully, holding reins and steadying packs. Temürbek traced the river's curves, imagining travelers from centuries past crossing here. Shadows of trees and cliffs stretched across the water, shifting with the sun. Camels shifted gently, water lapping softly at their legs. The boy laughed quietly, splashing a small ripple into the current. Merchants exchanged whispered advice, moving deliberately with experience and care. Temürbek inhaled deeply, letting the serene rhythm of flowing water calm his mind. A gentle breeze stirred, carrying distant scents of herbs, grass, and wet stone. Camels hummed steadily, blending their cadence with the soft gurgle of the river. The boy bent to touch smooth river stones, marveling at their shapes and colors. Merchants moved with measured precision, ensuring packs remained balanced and dry. Temürbek paused briefly, appreciating the timeless flow of water and life around them. Sunlight glinted off the ripples, creating a delicate, ever-changing mosaic. Camels plodded steadily, hooves creating soft splashes in the shallow water. The boy's laughter mingled with the hum of camels and the gentle gurgle of the river. Temürbek allowed himself a moment of stillness, attuned to the flowing energy of the river. Shadows shifted, as clouds passed, softening the light and painting subtle patterns. Camels shifted slightly, adjusting with gentle patience as they crossed the stream. The boys' excitement mingled with quiet curiosity, eyes sparkling at the life around the river. And as the caravan reached the far bank, the river's calm and flowing energy remained, guiding them onward with quiet, eternal rhythm. The caravan emerged onto wide plains, bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun. Temürbek inhaled the golden air filled with scents of grass and distant wildflowers. Camels plodded steadily, their hums blending with the gentle rustle of the plains. The boy's eyes widened at the endless horizon, streaked with shades of orange, pink, and violet. Merchants murmured softly, guiding camels with careful, measured steps. Shadows stretched long across tall grasses, creating delicate patterns on the earth. Temürbek allowed the caravan to slow, savoring the tranquil beauty of the sunset. A hawk glided gracefully above, wings outstretched against the glowing sky. Camels hummed softly, a steady rhythm amidst the soft sigh of wind. The boy pointed at distant herds of grazing animals, curiosity and wonder in his eyes. Merchants exchanged quiet smiles, appreciating the vast expanse and calm of the plains. Temürbek traced patterns in the grasses, imagining travelers who had crossed these lands centuries ago. Sunlight shifted gently, casting warm, soft hues across the landscape. Camels shifted slowly, steady and patient in their movements. The boy bent down, touching the tips of tall grasses swaying in the breeze. Merchants whispered softly, commenting on the colors and textures of the plain. Temürbek inhaled deeply, letting the calm rhythm of the plains fill him completely. A gentle wind stirred, carrying distant scents of earth, flowers, and warm sand. Camels hummed steadily, blending seamlessly with the serene environment. The boy laughed quietly, chasing a drifting feather carried by the breeze. Shadows softened as the sun dipped lower, painting the plains with warm, golden light. Temürbek guided the caravan carefully, each step deliberate and attuned to the landscape. Merchants moved with quiet precision, ensuring balance and harmony among the camels and goods. The boy traced shapes in the earth, inventing stories of ancient travelers and hidden treasures. Camels plodded steadily, their gentle hums a comforting melody against the plain's vastness. Temürbek paused briefly, absorbing the serenity and timeless beauty of the sunset. The wind whispered softly, carrying faint echoes of life and history across the plains. Camels shifted gently, adjusting their stance as evening approached. The boys' laughter mingled with camel hums in the soft sigh of wind, and as the caravan traversed the sunset plains, the endless horizon embraced them in calm, warm, and eternal serenity. The caravan spotted the distant city, its walls glinting softly in the morning sun. Temürbek inhaled the warm, fragrant air, tinged with the scent of distant markets and baked bread. Camels plodded steadily, hooves striking softly on the well-trodden path. The boy's eyes widened at the sight of towering gates and bustling streets beyond the walls. Merchants murmured quietly, discussing the city's famous bazaars and artisans. Sunlight reflected off rooftops, casting golden highlights across stone and tile. Temürbek allowed the caravan to move slowly, savoring the approach to civilization. A hawk circled above the city, wings outstretched against a clear sky. Camels hummed softly, their rhythm blending with the distant hum of the city. The boy pointed at a distant minaret, imagination painting stories across its shadowed facade. Merchants exchanged quiet smiles, reflecting on the wealth of culture and trade awaiting them. Temürbek traced patterns in the approaching streets, imagining travelers who had arrived here centuries before. Shadows shifted gently, stretching long across cobblestone streets and market squares. Camels shifted slowly, maintaining balance and poise as the terrain changed. The boy bent to examine a patch of wildflowers growing at the city outskirts. Merchants whispered softly, noting the scents of spices, fresh bread, and distant incense. Temürbek inhaled deeply, letting the calm anticipation of the city fill him completely. A gentle breeze carried the mingling aromas of distant markets and flowing water. Camels hummed steadily, a comforting melody against the backdrop of approaching civilization. The boy laughed quietly, pointing at pigeons fluttering near the city gate. Temürbek guided the caravan carefully, every step deliberate and mindful. Merchants moved with measured precision, ensuring camels and goods remained steady. The boy traced shapes in the dust, imagining stories of traders, travelers, and city dwellers. Camels plodded forward, steady and patient, their hums blending with the morning breeze. Temürbek paused briefly, appreciating the city's promise of shelter, trade, and vibrant life. Sunlight shifted, illuminating city walls and distant minarets in warm, golden tones. Shadows softened as villagers moved about, preparing for the day's activities. The boys' laughter mingled with camel hums and distant city sounds. Merchants whispered words of anticipation and excitement for the bustling market ahead. And as the caravan approached the city gates, the distant walls welcomed them, promising warmth, trade, and timeless connection. The caravan entered the city gates, a gentle murmur of life greeting them softly. Temürbek inhaled deeply, savoring the mingling scents of spices, fresh bread, and bustling streets. Camels plodded steadily, hooves clinking softly on cobblestones. The boy's eyes widened at the colorful market stalls, their fabrics and wares swaying gently in the breeze. Merchants moved carefully, guiding camels through narrow streets with calm precision. Sunlight filtered between tall buildings, casting warm golden highlights across the city. Temürbek allowed the caravan to slow, savoring the vibrant atmosphere surrounding them. A hawk circled above, its shadow flickering over rooftops and market squares. Camels hummed softly, a steady rhythm beneath the hum of city life. The boy pointed excitedly at a baker's oven, imagining the taste of freshly baked bread. Merchants whispered quietly, observing the diversity of people and goods around them. Temürbek traced patterns in the streets, imagining travelers from centuries past arriving here. Shadows shifted gently, softening the hard edges of stone and tile. Camels shifted slightly, adjusting their pace as the streets narrowed. The boy laughed softly, marveling at artisans crafting delicate objects. Merchants exchanged quiet smiles, appreciating the city's welcoming energy. Temürbek inhaled deeply, letting the rich history and culture of the city fill him completely. A gentle breeze carried scents of incense, herbs, and warm food through the streets. Camels hummed steadily, blending their rhythm with the city's vibrant yet calm pulse. The boys' laughter mingled with distant voices, carts rolling, and soft bells from nearby temples. Temürbek guided the caravan carefully, every movement deliberate and mindful. Merchants moved with quiet precision, ensuring camels and goods remained steady. The boy traced shapes in the dust of the city gate, imagining stories of travelers and traders. Camels plodded forward, steady and patient, their hums a comforting melody. Temürbek paused briefly, absorbing the city's warmth, energy, and timeless charm. Sunlight shimmered across rooftops, creating delicate patterns in the bustling streets. Shadows softened as villagers and merchants went about their daily routines. The boys' laughter mingled with camel hums, the gentle hum of carts and distant temple bells. Temürbek allowed himself a final moment of serenity, attuned to the rhythm of city life. And as the caravan came to rest within the city, the journey's end brought calm reflection and the quiet joy of connection.